Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. Let's make today a great day. How do you make your day great? Well, that's simple. You look for the good. You look for the good and you appreciate the good. You appreciate all the good things that are around you. And then you perpetuate the good. You play that good forward. You give kindness to other people. You give love to other people. You give understanding and empathy to other people. I firmly believe that when you give kindness and love and understanding and compassion and empathy to other people, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. But sometimes some people say, oh, Dr. Sem, I can't find any good. There is no good. There's nothing good. And if that's the case, well, then you need to create your own good. Go out and create some good. When you create good, guess what? Then there's goodness. And then you can perpetuate the goodness that you are creating. And you can appreciate and take joy in the good you are creating. Now, speaking of good, there is a great publisher called Artemisia Publishing. Artemisia Publishing is, of course, sponsoring the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. Today, we're going to highlight one of the wonderful books that is published through Artemisia, Scattering the Ashes. This is my novel. It is now an audiobook, and it's just a most wonderful story about faith and God and love and a family and a man and the girl he falls in love with. There is baseball in there. There's marathoning in there. It is an absolute can't miss, one of a kind, very original story, Scattering the Ashes. Take some time, order that wonderful book. It is everywhere you can get books. And again, now an audiobook, and you will be very happy. All right, so let's get the Start Spreading the News banner up, the greatest Yankees site out there, the one that I run. 3 articles minimally every single day at 6, 10, and 2 o'clock, including this show, which ends up as one of the articles, and the Start Spreading the News podcast and the Bronx Beat podcast, and so much more. Nobody puts out as much great quality programming, articles, information as us. It's not even close. We are the standard bearer. We've had over 5 million page views since we started in 2017. And for the most part, we haven't missed a day. There were some days when we transformed from one carrier to the next internet provider. But besides that, we haven't missed a day since 2017. No one can match that kind of record, especially when I'm saying we haven't just put one article out a day. We've put multiple articles out a day, every day, for years and years and years. All right, so in Yankee news, Aaron Boone was rehired as the Yankee manager. We all knew that was coming. Look, it's like with presidential candidates, and we just got through the presidential race, and some people are happy and some people are sad. Those people were probably in other camps 4 years ago, being happy or sad. And they were probably in other camps 4 years before that, happy or sad. And 4 years before that, it was probably in the other camp, the other way around, happy or sad. We don't get into politics here. My point here is people already have their opinions about certain political figures, certain political movements, certain political topics. And at this point, the same is true for Aaron Boone. There are those that are his staunch defenders. And you know what? His win-loss record in the regular season is very impressive. You cannot take that away from him. The Yankees win a lot, and they make it to the playoffs a lot. How much credit he gets for that is what people will debate. And how much fault he gets for the Yankees continually failing in the playoffs or World Series, how much of that is Aaron Boone's fault is the other side, right? Some people will say he got them there. He's not playing the games. It's not his fault. Other people will say he's made some terrible moves, bringing in Nestor Cortez in game 1, for example. That's what cost them. And other people like myself will point to a combination of everything I've sort of mentioned. But most of all, the fact that the Yankees do not play and never have played good fundamental baseball under Aaron Boone. That's just a fact. No one can debate that. And in fact, if you go back, if you can, if you could, through the record, one of the first people to note that, to say the Yankees look sloppy and fundamentally unsound, the first person to note that early in 2018 was me. And over the years, there have been a lot of pushback. How dare you? You can't say that about Aaron Boone. The Yankees win. But love him, hate him, and no one hates him really. But part of leadership, part of being the leader is you're going to get the blame when things don't go right. Part of leadership is accepting that blame and taking some responsibility for that blame as well. That doesn't mean you don't like the person in leadership. Just as when I critique Giancarlo Stanton or DJ LeMahieu or Anthony Rizzo or whatever, doesn't mean I don't like the guys. How could I not like them? I root for them because they're Yankees, but I don't know them personally. Aaron Boone, Aaron Judge, Aaron Hicks, Hank Aaron. I mean, name Tommy Aaron. Name every Aaron you can think of. They might be the nicest people individually in the whole world, or some of them might be and probably are not nice people, because in any population, there's great people and not so great people. If I met any of them, if I were hanging out with any of them, I'd be nice to them. Of course I would. But as a Yankee fan, what do I want from Aaron Boone and Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo and Anthony Volpe and the rest? I want them to win. I mean, ultimately, I root for them. But when we critique them, that doesn't mean, again, that we don't like them. It means there's something that's there to critique. And unlike so many others, I don't just find things to criticize. I don't just want to find things to be complaining about. I want to look to the good. It's more fun for me. Some people, it's more fun to look to the bad, but no, not for me. I want to look to the good. I want the Yankees to win. And again, Aaron Boone might be the greatest guy in the world. Maybe he'll move in next door to me one day, and he and I can become best friends. We could talk baseball and sit on the couch and watch ball games together, or play wiffle ball in the backyard. Maybe he would play for the baseball team I pitch on. Who knows? Again, he might be the nicest guy in the world, but as a manager, I don't think he's a very good manager. And I don't think he's a very good manager, and I said this from the beginning, because he does not prepare his teams well to play good fundamental baseball. That's been a mark of the Boone philosophy, the Boone approach, the Boone teams since he's been the manager. But at this point, the Yankees have not extended him. So right now he's a lame duck manager, which is really interesting, because the voices against Boone, which I think have grown over the years as fans get more and more frustrated by watching a team with a lot of talent play such poor fundamental baseball. I think that loud noise, that public outcry, is going to expand the first time the Yankees face a long losing streak, which happens to most teams, but has also been a defining characteristic of the Boone era. The Yankees go through these periods where for weeks or months on end, they just can't seem to put it together. So then the question becomes, if the Yankees aren't committed to Aaron Boone, and it's likely or possible that he gets fired during the season, maybe they won't do that, but they didn't extend him, which means they're not giving him a vote of confidence that it's going to go beyond 2025. If that's the case, wouldn't it have been better to remove him now? Let's take this out of baseball. Let's move this whole conversation to football. Because I think in New York, New Jersey, in New York, there's a prime example of what I'm discussing that took place this very season with the New York Jets. The Jets have not been a very disciplined football team. They've been an underperforming football team. I don't think they've been in the playoffs since, 1903 or something. It's been a long time. They're one of the teams with the longest playoff droughts in football and probably all of professional sports at this time. And they had a coach who some liked, who some didn't like, who did some things really well. The Jet defense always seemed to do well. And they had a team that had Super Bowl aspirations. They looked like, according to many experts and fans and pundits, like a team that was going to be really good. And there was an opportunity after the season for the Jets to take it in another direction as they're getting ready for the Super Bowl, to bring in a big-time, successful head coach. Because it seemed like this was a now or never season for Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach. But the Jets didn't do that. There were some big-time coaches out there. The Jets said, we're going to stick with the guy we have. And then they fired him during the season. Things haven't gone better. They took the defensive coordinator and made him the head coach. And I think they've won one game since and lost a whole bunch. I'm a Jets fan, but I have to be honest, I don't follow the Jets like I follow the Yankees. I don't live and die with each Jet victory or loss. If anyone did that as a Jets fan, they'd be miserable because they lose so often. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969. So if anybody was living and dying with the Jets, that's a bad way to go about it. So I watch the Jets. I get excited about the Jets until they're terrible, which they are most often. And then I just say, all right, I'm not going to waste my Sundays watching this. Maybe next year. And then I'll maybe get into football again late in the season and watch the playoffs and root for the team or the teams in the playoffs that, for whatever reason, capture my interest, including teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, who right now win all the time. And so I want them to continue to win all the time. And you might say, what, are you crazy? Why? Why would you want the same team to win all the time? Because I'm a Yankee fan. That's what I want the Yankees to do. I'm in favor of teams who dominate. So when the Patriots were winning all the time, I thought that was great. Keep winning. Keep going, Brady. And now that the Chiefs are winning, keep going. That's what I want the Yankees to do. I'd be a hypocrite if I said in other sports it should be a different team every year. No. I want the Yankees to win every year. I like when teams win all the time. I root for the overdog. Now, sometimes I root for the underdog. You know, it's fun to watch the team that's not supposed to win, especially if they're not playing the Yankees. It's kind of fun to see the Mets win so much this year because nobody thought they would. But in the end, I'm not upset when the great team keeps winning because I like it when great teams keep winning. And I wish I was a Yankee fan in the 1950s when the Yankees seemed to win it all the time. That seems like a great time to be a Yankee fan. So I'm in favor of teams that win a lot. But to get to the Jet point, they fired the coach and they didn't have the opportunity because it was during the season to have another coach come in, establish his standards, his routines, his procedures, his excellence. And the team went from bad to worse. So I'm not a big fan of Aaron Boone. I don't think he's a great manager. He probably does some things well. He might be a nice guy to have as your friend. But I don't think he prepares the team well to play fundamental baseball. And we've been over this so many times. The mistakes that the Yankees make all the time, defensively, throwing to the wrong base, having guys like Giancarlo Stanton trying to score from third with 2 outs when the left fielder's already throwing the ball and he's not even at third base and he can't run. Anthony Rizzo not backing up Gleyber Torres in game 1. Garrett Cole not covering the bag in game 5. I mean, we could go on and on. I don't even list them all. If you watch the Yankees, you see it. They are not a good fundamental baseball team. So if you're going to bring Aaron Boone back, my hope, as crazy as this sounds, for someone who would rather the Yankees have a different manager, would be that he lasts the whole year. I don't think it makes sense to fire him and promote the bench coach, Brad Ausmus, who hasn't really ever had any success as a manager anyway. What are they going to do? They're going to bring him in the middle of the season? Well, that's not going to be a thing where you can then get the Yankees more mentally prepared, I don't think. A couple of years ago, the Yankees changed the hitting coach in the middle of the season. I don't think there was any appreciable difference. You know, by that time, players are into the routine. The team is flowing as the team flows. It's very hard to change a culture midstream. I mean, that was the argument for reelecting FDR all those years ago. You don't change a horse midstream, and they were in the middle of World War II. So let's not change the commander-in-chief. Let's win the war, right? So for the Yankees, I'm not thrilled that it's sort of a lame duck Aaron Boone situation. Not thrilled with that at all. In fact, that's concerning because, as I say, if he starts to lose a lot of games, the calls, and I might be making them myself, will be to fire him. And the Yankees just might listen But there's no guarantee that someone coming into an established program is going to be able to change that program. The Jets had the chance last summer and spring, the football off season, to make some radical changes in the way they built the team, trained the team, prepared the team, etc. Made game day decisions, made game plans, and all of that. And they decided not to. And then they fired the coach anyway when it was too late to bring in somebody that could do all those changes. So if the Yankees fire Aaron Boone, hey, it might work on, I don't know, June 13th. There's no guarantee that the new guy is going to be able to come in and establish the type of team that that new guy would have established had that new guy started now. Doesn't that make sense? So I'm not really thrilled with the lame duck thing. On the other hand, I don't want the Yankees to give Aaron Boone a long extension. I don't think he deserves it. I really don't. I don't think he's done a good enough job as a tactician and as a manager, the guy who makes the preparations to have his team game ready. Remember, the Los Angeles Dodgers had a game plan that said just play hard. The Yankees will beat themselves. That's an indictment of the Yankees and the way they prepare their team. And that's an indictment then, by definition, of Aaron Boone. The league is saying the guy doesn't have a team that plays good fundamental baseball, does not have a team that plays hard, has a team that slacks off, has a team that loses focus, has a team that makes bad errors, fundamentally, physically, and mentally. And they're a team that then, as a result, is beatable. And they were. It took the Dodgers just 5 games to win 4 of them and become the world champs. But I don't think at this point, if the Yankees change their manager, it's going to make a whole heck of a lot of difference. Now, there are examples. Billy Martin, 1978. Bob Lemon comes in after Billy Martin was fired and brings the Yankees to the World Series because he had a completely, totally different approach. Maybe that can work. But most often, that kind of approach doesn't work. You know, with the Jets, Robert Saleh had an approach on how to get a team ready to play football. And he had an approach on the type of player he wanted to play in a certain position and the way that player would play that certain position. And Aaron Boone has his philosophies of who should play where and why and how. And that's what they're going to spend, whatever time they spend, on the fundamentals in spring training, working on all of that. It would be hard for somebody to come in and then say, you know, Jazz Chisholm, I don't really think you're a third baseman. Now you're going to play second base. And now we have to find somebody else to play third base. And like, however they do it, Juan Soto, you're not going to be a number 2 hitter anymore. You're going to be a number 4 hitter. And this one's going to go there and that's going to go here. A lot of that stuff is hard to change in the middle of the stream. And so that's the concern. Oh, boy, 25 minutes of talking about a concern about whether or not the Yankees should give Aaron Boone the full year. Hey, you know what could happen? The Yankees could get off to a great start. And unlike other years, the Yankees might continue winning after that great start. Wouldn't that be fun? And if that's the case, then the conversation is moot. We don't even need to have it. Hey, go to Start Spreading the News, the great site right there. You see it. And read all of our great content. On Thursday, I had a great article where I said the Yankees should get Vlad Guerrero. We had some interesting discussion there. I claim that Vlad Guerrero, as one of the players, I think he was 11th in position player WAR. That makes him great. some readers took issue with that. Like, that doesn't mean anybody's great. He's not great defensively. He's a great hitter, but he's not a great baseball player. I'm saying if you're one of the top 11 players in value in the league, that makes you great by definition. But there's some good discussion there. On Fridays, Andy Singer always puts out a great mailbag. He always has great perspectives. You can go back and look at that from yesterday at 10 o'clock. We have a lot of articles from Sal Marinara. We've got Tim Cable with articles, Derek McAdam, Ed Body had an article, EJ Fagan. We rerun his articles that are from his Substack most often. He's got so many articles about position players and the way he would build the team and whether or not Juan Soto is worth $600 million. Some of those are still coming. But listen, take a look and start spreading the news. It is an amazing and fantastic site. And then, of course, check out Artemisia Publishing at apbooks.net. They have gazillions of great authors, gazillions of great books, including many of mine, including, as I say, this wonderful novel, Scattering the Ashes. See, it was an award winner. Won Best Literary Fiction many years ago, but just a great, great book. And again, now is an audiobook. You don't want to miss the great Roy White book, From Compton to the Bronx. You do not want to miss The Least Among Them. And you don't want to miss this one. I've been putting this on my Twitter, quotes from this book for the last couple of weeks. Going the Distance, 365.2. Is there a challenge in your life that you don't think you can manage? Is there something you'd like to accomplish and you don't know if you can? Read that book. I ran every single day for a calendar year. That's the 365.2. I didn't think I could do it. Well, part of me knew I could if I really worked through it, but there were days and there were times. I tried previously and failed twice to do it. And then I said, I'm going to do it, but it wasn't easy. And this is how I found the inner will and the strength to overcome. It's a story about running, but it's really a story about overcoming the big challenges in our lives. I highly recommend it. Of course, I wrote it, but it's great. 365.2, Going the Distance. Take a look. All right, I'll be back again Monday night live with the great EJ Fagan on the Start Spreading the News Yankees Show. Stay tuned for Mac and Jack and their wonderful Saturday show. So much great programming that Mac has brought to this network. It just continues to grow and grow and grow. And I'm glad that I could say I was there basically right from the start. Have yourselves a happy day. Find the goodness, spread the goodness, give love, give good cheer, love your neighbor, do great things. When we give love, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, my dear friends, as always, for watching.